on the side of FlyQuest so far?
So Rumble's still up, Talia's still up, like a Talia Vi sort of action there. You could do like some Rumble with like a Yone or something type of composition. So there's a couple different angles. Interesting Sylas ban here. Maybe they just want you know, to open up an Alistar for later or something for their bottom lane. We'll see about that, but definitely a lot of power picks still available as far as the solo lanes go. Varus on the bottom, still quite good.
I gotta ask Dhokla what's going on with those Ksante hovers. Usually the hovers are
I mean, Dhokla's always hovered.
It has been? That's just his go-to? Okay, I haven't noticed that one then. Well, is the Varus locked in either way for LYON, so they're going for their bot side first off, and it's going to be very quick Vi-Ahri combo. Chain CC, easy lockdown between these two.
That was the Sylas ban. That was the Sylas ban. They wanted to do the Ahri instead of the Talia. Even though I really like the Talia, we have seen some pretty rough Ahri games so far, so maybe this one will change the story. There's also been some very good ones though, so yeah. Especially when you pair it with Vi, the point-and-click combination.
Yeah, if they end up locking in this Aurora, I believe it will go mid lane, even though it's technically a flex.
We always bring up...
Dhokla says it's fake.
We always bring up this story. That was a while ago, you know, opinions can change. Dhokla has since actually had his ass beat by an Aurora in the top lane.
Did that really happen though?
So...
You know, growth mindset here, Kobe. You know, you need to learn.
He might be like, you know what? I changed my mind. Aurora top is good. So, you know, it's probably going to Saint, since Saint had, you know, one of the biggest damage Aurora games in the entire LCS with it. But it could swap always.
We got a rock locked in. That's a Malphite. Also technically flex pick, although expecting that jungle has been mostly in the jungle lately.
Yeah.
But I inspired on another kind of like ultimate, you know, centric champion between the Nocturne and now the Malphite. As soon as that ults up, like, he can be looking at these lanes.
Yeah, I mean, Malphite is so much more boring to me, though.
Oh, yeah?
Than Nocturne.
After the nerfs, yeah. After the nerfs here. Because before it was still pretty exciting just because of the power of the champ. But
I think it's pretty early to pick Malphite, right? They immediately take Ezreal.
I don't know what some of those are. I don't know what one of those is. But, you know what? I'm going to try that recipe later. I'm going to go back
to turns into another big stomp. We'll come back to that.
Okay, yeah.
As a talking point.
That's a talking point
when we
for
have
later.
the time.
Yeah. What exactly are we making there? But it's going to be Ezreal for Massu, so more defensive AD carry.
Yeah, a good pick into Malphite. That's why the early Malphite priority, even though it was really overpowered when before the nerfs.
At least one game for the birthday.
It's your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one not looking so good. I like where your head's at though, Jatt. You know, you're picking Malphite into two carries that have the most mobility.
Yeah, it's not a good slot. It's good into Vi maybe, and maybe if Gakgos picks an AD champion, and they could potentially flex it, but I think it's a little early. Inspire just did so well at hitting 6 and playing on alt-timers, though. He's just going to try and play, I think, a similar game.
And I think part of what worked out well for them in that last game was the fact that they had, you know, the Renekton top lane to push in the wave and then cover for that top Skeletal Crab if a fight even happened up there. So I think that for LYON, drafting, you know, winning lanes might be part of their recipe here for success. And man, the Dhokla fans really have shown up today. Shout out to the Dhokla fans. Big Dokes. Love it.
All right, Renata off the table as well here because they're showing Vi-Ahri, so you know they're going to go for the engage pretty heavily. Don't want to have to work around Renata ultimate, and you know, giving that respect over. Meanwhile, in addition to taking off the Rumble to open up her blind pick that we're assuming is coming for Dhokla on this side. Okay, so they want a protection with both the Rumble and the Gnar. Make it a little bit easier for Big Dokes. Even though, yeah, you know, technically you could stick him on Malphite if you really wanted to, but...
And I want to go all the way back. This was something we talked about last year when Gakgos got a couple of stage games for FlyQuest. What they wanted to set him up for was counter picks with a unique champ pool and playing some of the carry champs. So I want to see Gakgos pull out something that the team can play around. They already have a bot laner that can play safe. They did go for the Alistar as well with that Sylas ban, so kind of double hit there with the Sylas ban. But I want them to enable Gakgos a little bit more here with his unique champ pool.
Yeah, and I think not going for support counter pick, but instead going for top lane counter pick is a good stride towards that. But the overall team composition, if we go back to game 1, FlyQuest picked this very slow scaling 5v5 team composition, and we were asking what are they going to do to try and correct the tilt. More individual agency across the board. Ezreal and Alistar can both play their own games. Vi and Ahri can both play their own games. And whatever Gakgos picks should be able to have an advantage in lane.
It's into Poppy, so he knows what he's playing against, but Poppy is a very solid defensive pick.
I think it's a double flex.
Oh,
Malphite,
I
Poppy can
guess.
both go top jungle, so he's got to have something that works into both.
I mean, Poppy is so good into Alistar, Ahri, and Vi here. Good value.
Could be Poppy support also, yeah. And now with the Ksante hover here, yeah, they have a lot of flexes, but I mean, they're gonna have to log in something here to kind of show us more. And it is Ksante, so expecting Poppy support then.
That explains it.
Yeah,
for the most part. Ksante top, Malphite jungle, Poppy support.
Still love Poppy into the Alistar. Very hard for you to make any action happen out there. And also it's just great into things like the Ahri as well.
Let's do it!
Oh, there we go!
Let's do it! Some real dive. All right. Into all of these tanks here. Okay, we expect you to have some focus up towards the top side of the map. Last game, you saw Gryffinn go up there like 4 times, right?
Yep.
Every single time he went up there, they died though. So this time around, they're not going to die. How about that?
Well, this time they're not going to try and play around a Sion, right? Because that's the opposite of what you want to do when you're playing around a Sion. It just felt like everything else in the map was lost here. At least by the champions, they can win this 2v2. They would hope. Although that's a big armor stack going up against Olaf. Olaf can do a lot of true damage and can also do well against a lot of melee champions. So if he gets a lead, he can shred.
Denting Blows can't help you out in that, but it's notoriously difficult to actually kill a Ksante. Like, he's a tough champion to lock down and take down, especially if he's under his own turret. So let's see if Dhokla's able to play weak side top lane as expected. Gakgos, though, this time, this is what I wanted. The Olaf top lane, a unique champ pool for a young top laner.
Yeah.
Walk back in, Kobe.
If you've been getting beat up a bunch on stage, then you at least need to try something else. You know, you have to increase your tolerance for risk. And index very heavily into counter picks. Olaf thrown down. Can the Olaf run through these tanks and take over the game to keep FlyQuest hopes alive?
After a crushing Game 1 loss, it's agency, the name of the game for FlyQuest. LYON looking to run through this series expeditiously as they got a 21K gold lead in that first one. Higher than the average age of FlyQuest members, as Jatt likes to remind us. Game 2, taken to the Rift.
Already some ward sweeping happening in that bottom lane. In terms of going against the grain as well, Kobe, I'd say even the Game 1 draft for FlyQuest was doing that. So many people are drafting support in 4th or 5th pick, whereas in Game 1, FlyQuest locked in the Ashe Seraphine in the first rotation. Here, the Olaf is something we don't see other people play. Game 1, additionally, trying to play the Jungle Gwen. So they're definitely trying a lot of things, and they seem to have changed their strategy overall for Game 2 with more power around the top side. But that killer instinct in draft and trying to be a little bit different, I think, is staying the same.
As we see, I always like to keep in mind whenever we see a Varus coming into the game, it is the Comet, so more lethality Varus. Expectation here, as Cryogen's actually playing very aggressively as a level 1 Alistar. It's rare that I see level 1 Alistar actually find this type of early lead, but that's it from us for the early game right now. Let's talk to Emily, who's there with ThinkCard for an interview.
Hello. First thing, how do you regroup from such a crushing loss?
Yeah, so obviously not the best performance, but in a loss like that, we kind of forgot most of our fundamentals in the first 6 minutes of the game. Like, we're calling out their Jhin can move. It could be 4v3 on Raptors, Nocturne's level 6, and then right after that we fight Dragon. So it just comes down to taking a step back, taking a deep breath, zooming out, and just playing the game accordingly, because in a game like that, as long as we do play slower and play on our timers, we kind of see it like a free win with our comp. So it is about kind of chalking it up, because as soon as you fall behind, the game's kind of a disaster. So it is easy to write it off, but we do need to have good fundamentals in order to beat teams in any pro league.
I fully agree. I actually really liked your comp in Game 1. Game 2, taking a completely different strategy here, right? With the Vi Ahri, like a lot of really early to mid-game playmaking. So is that like a conscious choice just based on how the way your team has performed?
It is kind of just like baiting them to pick Varus, and then we have a very good dive comp with the Vi Ahri Olaf. Overall, it still kind of follows a similar thing where they do have like a Malphite, which is going to have pretty strong like mid-game fights. But as long as you have Flash and we have Ezreal Ahri, which are pretty good against the Malphite, then it should be easy for us to kind of find a good fight. And what the key for team fights in this game is as long as Olaf can connect with the VAR, it's going to be winning. But if Olaf is too far away or can't connect, then that's how you know a fight's probably not going to go our way.
Well, we'll see what happens. All the best to you and your team. Thank you for taking the time. We'll let you go. Back to the cast.
Love hearing Coach's thoughts, and I gotta ask, is it just like a FlyQuest thing where they take the mic from the interviewer? Gryffinn does it, now Thinkard does it. Is that just like their thing?
Maybe he's learned from the coach and not the other way around. Because
I don't know why you guys let him have it.
Yeah, he can hold on to that thing.
as long as they give it back. First infraction, never again. But it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I know. It just keeps happening. Gakgos is actually in a very low health situation here as the Olaf, though.
And I'd also say exactly the same jungle pathing that we saw early on in Game 1. So Inspired doing the Raptor start, not recalling until after his Krugs are done, whereas Gryffinn doing the more standard full clear, basing, and then going back for Krugs. It did allow him to kind of cover for Gakgos a little bit there, but he's going to have to start clearing his camps because he wants to hit level 6 at the same time as Inspired.
And it's another instance where already in the early game, Inspired is getting a more efficient clear over Gryffinn. This time because he's hovering on the top half and will now go towards these other camps. But yeah, Inspired is able to get that top Scuttle Crab and is right back towards his bottom camps.
Well, I mean, it's same efficiency, it's just different timers then. You're desyncing your Raptor spawns from your opponent's Raptor spawns with this.
Sure.
Last time, turned out pretty poorly.
It did, yeah.
A little bit dangerous, but we'll see how it happens this time. Generally, when you are playing level 6 junglers like Malphite or Nocturne, or a lot of people really like Raptor starts now, so you can get back for the second clear on your red quadrant of the jungle. But you know, it is going to be the clear top down to bottom every time for Gryffinn. So Gryffinn is once again going to end up down here after finishes clearing his Gromp. Looks like Isles just went and popped the Scryer's Bloom over him, though, and so they have clear vision of the Vi, and Inspired takes that time.
Level 5 Malphite gank. I mean, there's a ward in that Pixel Brush, so they see it coming, but it might not be enough. Ultimate is popped, Ragnarok used, but he sees C immune. Is it enough to get the solo kill? No, it's First Blood, the Dhokla.
Big Dokes. Honestly, he had a really good first game as well. We were talking mostly about Inspired and about Berserker as far as the bottom lane, you know, the individually winning places. But Dhokla made a lot of good 2v1 plays for himself on the Renekton up by the top side. Yeah, it was a nice, easy winning matchup with Renekton into Sion, but this time around he had to blind pick the Ksante, and Inspired says, you know what? I'm going to come on up here. You only need a little bit of extra damage.
Yeah.
When your Ksante gets to level 6, nice all in there from Dhokla with the all out. And Inspired just add a tiny little bit of extra damage to make the difference here. Gryffinn, this time around, does again not get that Raptor spawn.
But he is level 6 because he sold the Drake. That's like the biggest crab of all in the early game.
Yeah, true.
Is it?
I mean, Olaf might be a bigger crab. I'd take the Drake over it as long as the
Olaf is a bigger crab than a dragon.
I mean,
we'll see. First Blood.
I need one of those like picture books that's the animal size chart from Jatt, and it's like, these are all variations of crabs.
And the larger crab. But I'd also say, like, it is another example of Inspired having a really good read on the game where all the information was actually available to the two top laners if they're looking for it, of which way the junglers started their clears, when the camps are going to be respawning, and where they're likely to be. Because Gryffinn clearing top down, if he's trying to go for another full clear, he's always going to be bot side. So that's why Inspired feels so confident to walk like through the enemy jungler as level 5 Malphite to arrive for that little bit of extra health.
Also, I just want to say, this is disastrous for the Olaf. I mean, we're talking about the fact that this is a Ksante that can stack armor. He now has the boots. He has the Bramble Vest. Like, this is not how the Olaf wants the lane to start off, already giving a kill over to your top lane opponent. So, again, pressure on for FlyQuest. Like, can Gryffinn get up there and help out his top laner, who's now going to be behind in the 1v1?
Also, during that invade, a nice ward was placed by Inspired that Gryffinn doesn't expect there, so they've spotted him a couple times on that ward right now, just giving Dhokla more knowledge of what he can do in the top lane.
Well, at least you can grab your honey fruit to sustain a little bit after that exchange, make it a little bit less painful there, but Malphite is level 6 here for Inspired, and this is one of the items that I have loved, the little buff that they gave with the new season. Because it added extra ability haste to it, extra ultimate ability haste to the Zeke's convergence.
Oh, okay.
So it's like perfect for Malphite because you get in there and then you get a little bit of extra AoE damage, slow him down, gives you just general tankiness as well for the game, regardless of damage types of your opponents. And it's very cheap. So you spike super early. So you get your level 6 on Malphite, get your Zeke's convergence, and you blast somebody.
A Malphite build that looked really fun, but I don't know if it's good, is just all the ultimate CDR items. So you go this into Malignance, into Hexplate. And then you're just lowering your R cooldown as low as possible. Have you tried that?
I can pass judgment on that right now. Yeah. I'll say it's not good, but I won't disagree that it looks cool and it's probably fun.
Yeah.
I would say full AP. I like full AP the most.
Full AP is fun.
It's also probably not the best.
Ooh, as Cryogen has to pop his ultimate right there. Massu taking a big chunk as well. Isles looks for the Q damage. Not going to find it, as FlyQuest now might just get chased down here. Berserker doesn't have the ultimate, but a flash from Isles just for damage onto Cryogen. Will get the flash out from the Alistar.
Yeah, nice flash trade there, getting the flash off of Alistar, although one has Hex Flash. Looks like Isles does not have Hex Flash in this game, so Cryogen might look to roam after this. Still, good laning performance so far by LYON.
And I gotta say that the early game still going LYON's way, but this time around FlyQuest are equalizing a little bit more. Actually, they're TPing topside here. It's the Unsealed Spellbook from Cryogen, so the Alistar popping up to help out Gryffinn deny all of the grubs from LYON, so it'll be a 1-for-2 trade, as Gakgos is also just keeping priority, pushing in on this top side.
Yeah, and as of now, FlyQuest is not rushing the game like they did in Game 1. So in terms of, you know, something did go wrong in the early game. Our Olaf got first blooded, but let's not forget our fundamentals. We can trade it for Drake. They then control the grubs. So this is already a huge improvement over Game 1 for FlyQuest.
And I would say that instance right there was the first time between Game 1 and 2 now that we've seen Gryffinn really identify where Inspired is and make a counterplay himself. Like, he's jumping up there with his Alistar behind him to push Inspired off of an objective, as opposed to Inspired, who all of Game 1, and even at the beginning there, identifying Gryffinn was pathing bot side and then ganks top. It feels like Inspired has had God vision himself to just know where Gryffinn is at all times. So small win there for FlyQuest.
And I like, you know, Cryogen investing the early teleport off his Summoner Spellbook. But it does mean now Isles has Summoner Spellbook teleport advantage, so you can make a play elsewhere sometimes and then use it to go back to bottom. He couldn't find any plays, though, so he's just going to use it for another reset.
Okay.
Isles right back to lane.
Hops down there, and equal buy with Cryogen as well. As Massu's in a 1v2 right now, and that's where Ezreal, again, very comfortable for a champion like Ezreal to be in these type of situations, which allows Cryogen to get around the map.
All right, Gryffinn has completed Sunder Sky. He wants to do like a lane gank, it looks like, on bottom side. He's coming down. Tribush does have a control ward. He really wants to use his Vi ultimate, but there's nothing really presenting itself, so maybe they do leash the dragon. He got a little sweep over the ward, though, so at least they know it's there.
They know it's on vision, and Saint just got mid-wave in, so they got to be very careful here. FlyQuest have a mid laner and Malphite coming in from the mid lane as well, and actually it could be Quad that's in trouble. Control ward will spot it down, and they just pulled the trigger over on Isles instead. Keeper's Verdict is canceled by the headbutt to stop them all from getting knocked away themselves, but now they didn't get the kill, they didn't get the pick, and they have to reset as Dragon will not be claimed.
Imagine a bit of a misplay there by Cryogen. Probably wanted to, his Q was on cooldown. I think was probably hoping to W him in the other direction, but wasn't quite in the right spot. Because going on the no flash Poppy seems like a really good turn.
Well, when the Keeper's Verdict is being channeled, it's either cancel it or let it hit all of us, I guess. So maybe you just take the latter. Who knows in those tight moments what the intention was, but either way, it just delays the Dragon. Neither team will go for that second one again, as instead Gryffinn paths towards the top side. So Kobe, he didn't find that immediate, you know, power spike he was looking for. Speaking of power spikes, Mastercard power spike here for Quad in the mid lane. Flash from Cryogen onto Berserker, as Chain of Corruption will go wide. Cryogen sidestepping that one, but in comes Isles. Gets the hit into the wall. Actually, Cryogen's able to walk away from that one. Exhausted down, the ultimate trying to keep him alive, but his AD carry's already given up on him. Cryogen will be the sacrifice. Berserker picks up a kill.
And they get the dragon. Oh, man. FlyQuest it feels like they just can't even really like hold on to anything. Maybe topside again. Gryffinn wants to go over the wall.
Okay, they're not going to wait for the dive. Instead, it's all out from Dhokla saying, all right, Griffin's my escape tool here. Griffin's trying to lock him down. Flash from Dhokla will get him to safety. In comes Quad with the charm. Lands onto the top laner. Dhokla with the third jump on the Gakgos. Saints trying to turn the play in a 1v3 now. Can he get anything? That's a teleport up from Berserker. The Varus has now shown up for the play, and in comes Inspired. Big ultimate knockups as Saint will get another kill. LYON yet again win a team fight.
Even when FlyQuest get 1 kill, Jatt.
Yeah?
They lose 3 more trying to get out of there. The teleport from Berserker Varus.
They're going so deep, though. Look at how long that chase went for Ksante. It gave a massive amount of time for LYON to mount a counterattack. Credit to Dhokla for delaying that so long. First off, I don't think that's a gankable Ksante. If you're Gryffinn behind the turret with no ultimate, if you think about the way this play started.
If you start it by going over a wall, you can go right back the other way with Ksante.
Yes, you can.
So Dhokla is able to get himself to an exit path and then flashes the Q here to buy some time. So that requires Quad investing the flash on Ahri, which now allows the counter because Malphite is quite close. So Saint feels confident getting the triple person ultimate with the Aurora, and Berserker's teleport means there's nowhere to exit.
Yeah, Inspired landing a very nice 2-man ultimate. Saint doesn't die at the end of it. Dhokla you appreciate it when you get 3-man as a top laner and then your team backs you up.
Exactly. And again, this is showing multiple times throughout both games where LYON are doing something on one side and FlyQuest feel pressured to do something on the other. This is now another instance in the top side here for Gryffinn. And it's now a 2.2k gold lead for LYON, rather, and a lot of that being on this bottom side. Berserker with that TP up top side. LYON have their support in some trouble. Their Quad was in the lane, and he had multiple members around him. That is a pick for FlyQuest. Much needed gold into the mid laner's pocket.
Really nice pick there by FlyQuest, trying to keep the action up a little bit, but that time, as you notice, they didn't need to really overextend for that play, so they used their tempo nicely and get the quick kill onto Isles.
Gotta say, LYON, they look pretty good, regardless of that like face check and 1 kill going over to FlyQuest.
Well, maybe it's another here as Cryogen gets onto Saint. Oh, the rocket fell to safety. Dodges the charm. There you go, Jatt. There's your rocket build.
It didn't go on Azir. No. More traditional there on Aurora.
All right. Well, and they also have the Malignance was rushed on to Quad, as you called out earlier, Kangas. So should be able to get that one back pretty quickly as well, and look for some more possible pick plays. I mean, FlyQuest have to keep looking for some of these picks. Meanwhile, topside, I feel like that Rift Herald's been pulled out. We can look at the minimap right now. Inspired is almost done with it. So Rift Herald here over to LYON, going to result in some more turret plate money for them, kind of guaranteed as well.
Yeah. I do think if you look at the big picture, though, for FlyQuest, they need to make sure they don't overforce, because as ThinkCard said, this draft was around, they're going to pick Varus, and we're going to pick a bunch of stuff that can kill Varus. Sure. So even though Dhokla Inspired are big tanks with lots of armor, if they can center plays around their bottom lane, they're still in a game state where they can win the game, rather than trying to force a bunch of plays up towards Ksante and Malphite.
And Varus already has an early bounty, because Berserker has had a lot of success this game already, you know, especially with that teleport up to the top side. So a couple early kills onto the Varus. If you are able to take him down, that would be huge. Get a little bounty there as well. Problem is, he does have his flash available, and he's got the extra boots of swiftness to dodge away and keep his distance.
I like Cryogen here, ghosting into lane. Again, the Summoner Spellbook, you can try and find little cheeky plays like that, but Dhokla wisely backs off, so should be fine.
I especially like Boots of Swiftness because it helps so much as an AD carry trying to kite an Olaf. You know, the axe spam, so much less threatening. You can dodge really easily side to side. Your Ghost Blade active helps with that a lot too. So it basically means that Vi has to ult you, or Cryogen has to have a really good, flank or something. But here we go towards the Crab. Crab once again taken by LYON. Inspired secure the crab, and that's going to be it.
And really difficult for FlyQuest to retake this space because the Aurora has perma-push in the bottom lane. Their jungle is warded up. They're trying to clear it, but with both bot and mid lane pushed in, and Berserker probably resetting now to complete another item, Edge of Night making it even more difficult for him to dive.
Ooh.
There's some really good timers for LYON here to play around bot river.
Yeah, now you can't even find like a charm to start things off under Berserker. You got to get through that shield first. Dragon has now spawned, so let's see if LYON want to start that one up as Griffin's on the top half of the map right now. That was a proxy farm from Dhokla, and in comes Gryffinn, uses the ultimate. Dhokla has the all-out, trying to get out of there, uses the step instead as Gakgos with the slow to follow him up. Everyone's onto Dhokla, LYON are onto the Dragon, flash over the wall, Gakgos flash follows, and the wait from Gryffinn to get Dhokla after the all-out. Well played to get the kill up there, traded for the objective.
That one works well. They were not going to retake river safely. We'd gone over where the power was in that instance, so that's the attempted counterplay. And this time, rather than trying to gank for a Malphite, or for a Scion like in game one, he's ganking for an Olaf. It didn't look like they were quite on the same page. Gakgos actually stutter step backwards at the start of that gank, but they got it done in the end.
Yeah, and they're able to push out the lane afterwards too. So the Olaf has been able to recover quite nicely, has the only little gold lead on the team, and once your stride breaker is done, you know, at least he has the extra, you know, speed differential to try and use, chasing people down, and we'll see how they progress there, if they can continue to make some picks, continue to get some extra gold.
This was the kind of weakness of FlyQuest after what happened in the early game, is that Gakgos was so far behind. Dhokla picks up that kill from Inspired's level 5 Malphite gank, but now Gakgos with this hopefully can get back into this game because Olaf is a big part of the comp, and they're just going to repeat the play again. No ultimate on the Ksante. This time an exhaust goes out with the support to lock down the Ksante. The ultimate from Olaf will just keep up as long as he's autoing. Dhokla has no escape, and Gakgos gets his second kill.
Eat him up, here we go. The snowball begins for FlyQuest. Gakgos also should be able to get this turret. Back away, Cryogen. Don't you dare steal any money.
I mean, this last sequence is huge. Yeah. It was a slight gold deficit for Gakgos into now a decent-sized gold lead.
I will at least say the first turret bonus had already been taken by LYON on the bottom side. So you don't
the plates had already mostly been farmed. I was waiting for it to jump up. It was like, got about 120 gold.
You don't get as big of a gold injection, but it's still good to get, obviously, for him as well. And Sundered Sky, you know, completed. So 2 items on the Olaf now. Something to work with.
But the question I have is it too little too late? Because Olaf I see as something you want to get that snowball going. Baron's already on the map, so we're kind of at a point of the game where Ksante might be looking to group up with the team anyway.
I mean, former FlyQuest top laner Bwipo would talk about how Olaf has really good scaling.
Oh,
so
really? Okay.
It was different item set, but he was like, actually about 3 items is where he becomes really powerful. You just need to go even in the early game. So we'll see what happens in this game just because Berserker does seem so accelerated. And a lot of times Olaf wars are about, like, can the AD carry kill you before you reach him?
Yeah.
And then maul him as an Olaf. But I think Gakgos is in a pretty good game state now.
Yeah, and this LYON squad is a lot about, like, burst damage with a lethality Varus and with an Aurora here. So if you can make them run out of burst, if the burst is not enough to get the job done, then they can still find some good success. Or, you know, they can always try and poke with Ezreal first. Massu here has been quite good with poke champions, so maybe he's able to dodge Varus poke and stay at a fairly healthy range away from the Malphite while still being able to get something done himself.
And Malphite, the targets he's looking at, it's a CCMU and Olaf, and it's 2 carries that have mobility, the Ahri ultimate, the Ezreal jump. So it's not even going to be like easy for Inspired to be like, okay, well, Gakgos is going somewhere else, I'll just jump on them as the Herald. Okay, well, we slammed into the wall. Well, we got the cinematic view of it. I like that.
I appreciate the view.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, he didn't want the Herald to die right there, so you delayed a little bit, set it back, and so then it's gonna deliver you a little bit of pressure. So now it's the next wave of minions that was pressured, and so Olaf is gonna have to answer there. It gives a small window for a roam towards mid.
There is a purpose for it.
Yeah.
Other than Joyride.
Yeah.
And Dragon's coming up in a minute 15, so if you can control the vision around the river, that is, you know, advantage in and of itself. There's 2 control wards from FlyQuest. They have multiple members here as LYON are jockeying for their own vision control. Saint walking up, taking some of that poke from Massu right there. 2 Qs have landed.
He's getting it done. Wormon is transformed.
Ooh, Charm onto Inspired as Isles is looking at it also. FlyQuest trying to spread out from the Malphite ultimate, but it's just a play for the Vision. LYON get the second control ward, and now we'll get that crab.
Yeah, Inspired would have been very difficult to kill, even if they land that Charm with having the Protoplasm Harness on top of what is now, 150 base MR. If he has his armor shield up, it's 250 armor while he has that. So really, really hard to get a pick on Inspired. Inspired is playing that very slow game. As Kobe mentioned, not as exciting as the Nocturne, where you're able to have like solo kill threat on side lanes. It's very much a slow and steady, wait for your team and land a good ult.
I do like that he's going for the like cheap item build, where he's using a lot of these kind of pseudo support items with the Zeeks and the Protoplasm that have very low price tags. So he can get to 3 items pretty quickly on, and we're going to get the 3-item power spike now with the Abyssal finish. So you've got that extra magic, damage that's going to help out Saint's burst damage. So there's huge burst damage. We get Malphite ulted. You're also going to be in range for the Abyssal Shred for Saint, and it could be dangerous. Here we go.
Yeah, the Dragon started already, and in comes Inspired. Could look for the engage at any time. Teleport in from Quad. Keeper's Verdict being channeled by Isles over the wall, but not going to throw it. So no knockback for Gryffinn. Instead, it's LYON looking at the carry. It's on Quad. The Dhokla turns his attention. Inspired still has the ult. He's holding it for a long time. Cryogen just trying to push back members from LYON as the Dragon is not getting bursted down. Inspired has found his way into the pit, and health bars are low and fly.
LYON are poking them out pretty effectively here. They're actually winning the poke wars hard. Dhokla zoning the Ahri.
Now the engage in onto the carry. It's Massu as the target. Say gets him. Massu's out of there. Now can FlyQuest deal with the rest? It's on to Quad. He's pushed away from the rest of the team in the pit. FlyQuest are winning it as it's Gakgos on the Olaf. Gets the first kill. Can he find more? No. Dhokla holds the line. Same with the damage. Berserker untouched, and LYON crush the fight at Dragon with a double kill to Saint to end it.
LYON just playing very well in team fights in both game 1 and 2. The beginning of this fight, getting that last execute onto Massu from Saint, and then also Inspired buying as much time as possible.
I want to ult when they stack. Wait. After the VQ, I will try to.
Ready, okay.
I'm looking now.
Mine ult.
I killed ult.
Ezreal dead.
Mine ult.
I can flash.
Okay, they looking mid.
Vi just flashed in. Olaf. Vi no flash.
I kill her.
Go man,
Nice.
go man.
Yeah.
I love how even after flashing over the wall, Inspired still shot calling the fight, saying who to target. He's in total control this game, landing that ultimate onto Ezreal, which turned the fight.
He's got a good view up there. And he had very good shot calling from the very beginning. He was like, right after the VQ, that's when we're going in.
Yep.
He ults in onto Massu, and then Saint is able to flash follow and kill that key carry.
Exactly, and Berserker was, again, untouched. We saw Gakgos, he's meant to be the threat for the lethality of Varus. He didn't even get the Banshee shield off of him. So, Berserker was able to just free fire in that fight as, the charm not land on the Isles. Good sidestep there.
Yeah, uses his W for a little extra speed there. Nice little juke, so no pick. And even though it is Malignant's Ahri, in a little bit of an investment there, because you see the bottom lane, Aurora's pushed it all the way up to the tower, so they kind of sacrificed a little bit of minion pressure here on the bottom side, as Saint was able to fully push that one in level 16 himself.
Yeah, this is turning into a slow and steady LYON victory. I really just... The big power difference there by Inspired going with the cheaper items. He was a full item up on the Vi, but only like 400 gold up on the Vi. So I think that ended up making a big difference, because if he's, a little 2-item carry there, Gakgos would probably get the kill on him, or at least burn the flash earlier. It just made such a big difference in that fight.
That's why his timings are so good. I was talking about right before he just finished the Abyssal.
Yep. Right
before FlyQuest start this fight, and then him and Saint with just enough magic damage to kill off Massu. Definitely impactful there as far as like assassinating that carry.
Guys, I'm starting to think Inspired's pretty good at League of Legends. I don't know, man.
And Saint is about to get a death cap. Let's look at this bottom tower though, because the tower is dead, so not much Dhokla can do about it. There's an Olaf in your face.
Saint is coming from the bottom, tier 2. So if Dhokla keeps Gakgos here, Gakgos could be in some trouble. But no, Gakgos will back away. Saint not going to make it there in time. But the turret was the objective for FlyQuest. They do get more gold onto this Olaf. Still 3-3-1. Still the last pick, fifth pick, counter pick for FlyQuest. And they put a lot of effort into giving him resources.
Yeah, and I do want to say that Saint is having a way better series than what we've seen in the past. So he was the target of the most criticism for LYON because he kept getting caught in crucial situations in all of their losses. He had a couple bad Taliyah games, but in game 1, it was 13-1 on the Azir, and here he's got the biggest bounty on the team, incredibly fed on this Aurora. So I think almost like the biggest difference between FlyQuest first 3 weeks and FlyQuest now is Saint is playing like a top-tier mid laner rather than what we saw beforehand, which was definitely not that, because he hasn't been picked off, doing his job in teamfights with strong laning.
And Saint was the one member that's returning to LYON from last year. This was the one player coming back. So when he was having a rough start to the year, it was like, ooh, is the roster going to work? You know, there were a lot of question marks raised of this would-be super team. We asked, the chat during the lounge segment today, the kicking off the show, is LYON a super team? And it was like 90% saying, no, they're not a super team. And I think a lot of that is because of the sentiment of how Saint has been performing in the mid lane for the team so far.
Yeah, it just feels like LYON are much more coordinated as a team than previously as well. So better individual performances also lead to better coordination.
Yeah.
You know, that comms listen-in was what you kind of expect from teams with Inspired on them, where it's like marching orders from the very beginning. This is going to happen, then this is going to happen, this. And it seemed like everybody is on the same page and really executing.
Yeah. I mean, speaking on being on the same page, Drake's up in 10 seconds, and look at those wards around bot river. They're going to try and take control of this and get yet another fight here. There is some nice deep push that Quad's getting in the top lane that Dhokla's going to have to catch, but you know that LYON is all hands on deck for this next Drake.
I mean, I think that FlyQuest are just giving it. I mean, look at where Gryffinn is. He's on the top half of the map. They're not going to TP Quad in, so it seems like FlyQuest are trying to slow the game down a little bit, not contesting this next dragon. It is only the third one, as Gryffinn looked for the Vault Breaker onto Isles, but he steps back. I mean, maybe they look for a pick out of Dhokla. Really tough to kill this Ksante. He will walk in and give them a window, though, as he's charmed up. CC chain stunned as well. He just cannot move. But Isles is behind him, and they have to invest so much to kill this Ksante, and he's still alive! The all-out out of Gryffinn pulls him back to the team. Now the rest of LYON are here. Isles will be the sacrifice instead, as Inspired only lands one with the ultimate. He might just get choked down, but Saint's over the wall. Saint found the flank on the Aurora, as Gakgos this time can finally free fire, will kill the top laner. FlyQuest trying to get members out. It's a 2-for-1 trade so far for FlyQuest. How bad does LYON want to keep this going? The lethality Varus lands 1 Q on a Cryogen. I guess that's a win for FlyQuest, trading up 2-for-1.
It's a win in the fight, it's a loss in the map because it's now sole point for LYON, but you understand they're not just going to flip the game by trying to fight third Drake from a 5,000 gold deficit, so they're going elsewhere. It's unfortunate that elsewhere is a Ksante, so it takes a really long time to kill him. At the very end, though, they are able to get a lot of nice damage onto Isles thanks to Quad's charm, and then Inspired doesn't actually land an incredible ultimate, just lands it on the 1, so it's not the perfect combo with Saint ulting in at the end.
Yeah, flash out, and then Dhokla on the re-engage here off of, trying to go coordinate. Wait a second.
That's an empowered recall. Okay, he's out of there.
Yeah, they were trying to go for the re-engage there, and so it turns into a 2-for-1. But yeah, Dragon Soul point is quite big because Mountain Soul shields would be a very big difference maker here, with both teams being fairly bursty. And looking for like these thresholds for lethal. Of course, the Olaf though has been the big topic, and Death Stance being completed provides you a lot of sustain. So Gakgos, this Olaf is in a very healthy position. FlyQuest need to just play around that Olaf.
Oh, we're actually going to send it here onto Saint, but he just dashes away with the ultimate between worlds. Teleport coming in now as he rocket belts forward. Dhokla has completed the TP, flashes in, exhausted up. Gakgos is holding the line, so Berserker can't get in there, so Dokla's in a 1v4, but now Saint's walking up, trying to back up his top laner. Inspired now shows up. It's so hard to kill the Ksante as he will walk back to safety of the team. Nobody dies on either side.
Really weird fight there with the initial engage not working for FlyQuest, and then I'd say Dhokla like flashing in for that engage when Inspired is off screen is never going to have the follow-up. He knew that he wasn't going to die, but he also wasn't really able to get much done. We're seeing a lot of durability actually on both sides of these team comps and not that much damage.
Yeah, Gryffinn tries to go for the Vi ult, but because it's an Aurora, you know, they can pop the ultimate, and because nobody else is like really that close, they don't have a lot of immediate threat.
Yeah.
And then clearly something from the side of, you know, LYON was calling for the re-engage, but all right, you know, a flash down here and there, and nobody actually giving over the extra gold. We're still very, very much in a fairly open game state.
But I want to go back to what Thinkard had said at the beginning of the game in the interview was we need the Vi ult and the Olaf to be in range to follow up. That was, again, Gryffinn going way deep in the jungle, and Gakgos didn't like hit anything. Yeah, he held the line so Berserker couldn't walk forward, but we haven't really seen that yet where Gakgos is able to follow up on the big engage from Gryffinn.
Well, luckily for them, they do have the Guardian Angel timer well before this Dragon Soul fight.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit rough as far as Baron and Dragon Soul being on this map at the same time. LYON can try and, you know, pull the trick where they go to the other side here and then force you to react to their objective. But with Guardian Angel on Vi, you can afford to go very aggressive. Vi, Alistar, and Olaf, you know, trying to push in and dive for that kill on the carry.
I feel like FlyQuest has to go in for this soul point. I think if it's Mountain Soul on the side of LYON, with FlyQuest needing to reach thresholds of durability to get kills, Soul will end the game. So
yeah, you're never killing Dhokla.
I've actually appreciated FlyQuest's restraint, not flipping the game earlier than this, trying to get small incremental wins on Gakgos so that he can become a big Olaf by the end of the game. But the game's going to be decided here if they can control this space. And it's really hard for them to move in. They're still quite far behind on the game.
Little Hex Drinker here from Gakgos as well, on the back of it. So going to have the extra magic damage shield to deal with a lot of the Aurora and Malphite upfront damage here. Is that going to be enough? FlyQuest, their Olaf is strong. They can fight around him if they can set it up.
But they just don't have control of the space, so it's likely they get engaged on first and then have to try and counter.
There's Inspired. Anytime you're walking into the Malphite, it can be scary. Gryffinn just flash engages here onto the backline, looks for Saint, gets knocked away with the Keeper's Verdict as Berserker's trying to hold back Quad, but in the pit goes the top laner. Watch for Gakgos. The Olaf's trying to free fire onto Dhokla, but that's the only member he's hitting, and now he's about to go down! Inspired picks up the kill. The Olaf has fallen. All the gold for FlyQuest, and now it's reliant on Quad and Massu to find some carry here. Big poke from Massu, knock back on the Quad, but no follow-up for the kill, but Saint got Massu dominating as he kills the Ezreal. FlyQuest have to back away and give the Dragon a LYON win the fight.
Great flash combo from Saint. Saint is playing so much better, especially this game. Really good back-to-back stuff because Gryffinn tried to do a really snap play on Vi, again, without the Olaf next to him. And because Gryffinn goes right over the wall, uses flash, uses ult immediately onto the Aurora, they use so much of their CC, and the Olaf is pretty far back. Then when Olaf comes in, he's immune to CC, but not damage. So Inspired just ults him for damage anyways, and they kill him off. Now they're on the Baron.
And all he can hit is Dhokla, who's got the Bramble Vest from the beginning. So, you know, tough position for FlyQuest. The Baron is the next objective. There's no chance FlyQuest can get in there. Isles is holding the line against Gryffinn. So instead they'll just go for the kill onto Isles, take out the Poppy, and now the Baron's low. Oh, there was actually a small window there. Maybe magic could have happened, but no, it is Baron secured for LYON.
Isles gives his life to make sure they get the Baron. Could have been a steal opportunity. I just really like everything about the way LYON played out the extended fight here. So Saint, he doesn't get followed up upon, but then the patience here to just like not give Olaf good targets. And the amount of magic damage that Saint actually manages to get onto the Olaf is really good. Procs the passive once there, continues autoing as Inspired ults in for damage. Berserker never presenting himself as the target. He's basically been almost full health in every single fight this game. So LYON is playing really good disciplined League of Legends.
And then Saint jumped over the Dragon Pit wall, and they lost track of where the Aurora was, thinking it was a front to back. Oh, really well played by Saint. 6-0-4 on the Aurora.
And now it's desperation time. So Griffin's hoping that some squishy dude walks down here and doesn't have friends.
Only one, please.
Please, one at a time.
Okay. Oh, was he just spotted right there? No, it doesn't look like it. This is crazy.
It's a double bush stack. So they have 3 in the top bush, All right, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, Saint sees it. Oh, big chunk on the Massu. One weirding.
But you kind of have to do some stuff like that,
Try
right?
something.
They still don't see Gryffinn. Okay, now they should see him coming up here. So instead, they just full send it on to Massu. 80 carries down, teleports in from the rest of FlyQuest, and now Gryffinn, the long con, not paying off so far, but he does get onto Berserker. Flashback from the Varus. Now Gakgos can free fire onto him. Can he finally kill the carry? He's still alive for now. CC immune, but again, not damage immune. Inspired will get that one as LYON are crushing everybody on FlyQuest. A double kill to Inspired. As he flashes the wall for the follow-up, they'll crush the team fight.
Long death timers and a Baron buff. 28 seconds on Massu. Quad still alive with no 80 carry. Might be a little tight, but LYON is pretty close to taking this game.
It seems like this is the push. They have the Baron empowered wave. It's only an Ahri left alive with no ultimate. Has Flash and the Zhonya's. So maybe Quad finds some miracle right now, but everyone's still full health bars. Uses the stasis on Inspired's second ultimate in the fight. Flashes back to safety. No chance of survival. FlyQuest taken down again. LYON, the team that we were promised, is showing its fangs today. 2-0 in the series.
One more game from the sweep to eliminate FlyQuest from LCS lock-in, Kobe.
And at the very end, a little kiss from Inspired. He flashes the FlyQuest logo versus his old team. One more game, Lounge. Who is going to take it?
Well, let's say you could say it's looking one way so far. Emily, you have a thought on that one?
I have a lot of thoughts. In that I should have stuck with the prediction that production gave me instead of